Okay, so today I want to do some stuff that's still building strength in the legs, getting us towards standing up. And while we're building strength in the legs, really bringing some release and relaxation to the low back. So we're going to try really hard not to use the low back for these next few poses, but to find the strength through the chain of muscles in our legs. All right? I've set myself up by this post here today because I'm going to use it for one of my poses. So how you might want to set yourself up is so that your mat is lined up parallel to a wall, maybe a foot, half a foot away. So we're going to work with that. Hello, how are you, friend? And you'll start just allowing yourself to lie down. Pillow underneath the head works good. And if there's any discomfort underneath your hips, you might use that blanket underneath your hips and give yourself a pillow under your head here. Yeah. So the first pose I'm going to teach you is called Clamshell. You're just going to lift and lower the top thigh. It's a small movement. The pelvis is still, so I always have my hands kind of give me that tactile awareness of what is happening in my leg. Thigh lifting and lowering. Lifting and lowering. Good. So you can feel in this pose that the whole thigh is active here and that it's not just one muscle in the back of the hip or the bum cheek that's doing the work. This should feel like the whole thigh is helping you. One thing to watch is that the bottom leg isn't tensing. That bottom leg wants to stay really relaxed. Upper body's relaxed. Where you feel this work happening is the connection of in through the thigh. If that worked and your body's ready to move to something different, the thigh can lift so that the knee, the hip, and the foot are all hip distance off the floor. The knee pulls towards the chest, and then the toe reaches out to press onto the wall. This activates a chain of muscles. As you push through the heel gently, you will activate muscles from the heel all the way up into the hip socket. And if you can hold the knee without letting it sag to the floor, hold the knee hip height, you'll really feel some engagement of muscles through this leg. We jokingly call this pose holy crap because that's how you feel when you get in here. You're like, holy crap, this is really hard. Nice work. And then release. You always release in yoga therapy poses when your breath gets tight or when your fatigue sets in so that your body starts to use other muscle groups. So as soon as it would be apparent that your low back is going to clench and try and help you hold your leg up, you would stop that pose because the whole point is to let the low back relax and activate and train your brain to use the muscles in your legs. At this point, you might want to stop the video and turn over and do those poses on the other side. Because I'm going to move on to two more poses that I want to show you today. One is using the blocks between your thighs and just taking the block, put it between your thighs and finding a little squeeze and release. In the video, you might not even see anything, and that's because I don't want your knees to be opening and closing. This isn't about that happening. This isn't about the knees guiding the movement at all. It's about the inner thighs, finding connection to the block, and letting that connection go. It's a super small movement, but again, it's brain training the legs. You're trying to keep the back really quiet, the pelvis really still, so I would use my fingertips just to feel the top crest of the pelvis. Nice work. So there's the block work. Good. into little bridge. Here's your imagination work. There are steel cables dropping from the ceiling all the way down. We're going to drill a hole in your hip flexor all the way through the sit bones and anchor those steel cables into the floor. Walk your feet a little bit closer to your heels, and when you go to rise your hips up, imagine that they just go up those steel cables, right? They are not, it's not like your tailbone lifts and it pulls up towards your shoulders and chest. Imagine that the block of your pelvis would be almost like an elevator, and you want that elevator to go up straight and smooth and come down straight and smooth. So you press into the soles of your feet. You might put your fingers on the hip flexor and feel it go from a bent position to a straight position. And then let the back of the pelvis land back down again. You can come up 1 centimeter and go down 1 centimeter. It doesn't matter to me how high you lift your hips. It matters to me that you feel like you're activating a chain of muscles through the legs. I want to offer you one option here, and that would be to take your block and place it between your thighs. And when you use the soles of the feet and then also connect the inner thighs to this block, find the same little bridge pose. And notice if it has more stability in it than without the block between the thighs. So if that block helps you find stability, use it. Feel if you can press into the heels and then find the line of engagement all the way up through the bum cheeks, and notice the low back. So anytime the low back gets into this, see if you can transfer the work back into your legs by just pressing through the soles of the feet, activating the legs, and notice if that relieves any effort that might be happening at the low back. Yeah. Good. So play around with those 4 options, ways for you to activate and get the thighs working without coming to standing quite yet. Clamshell, holy crap, foot to the wall, block, the block just here, squeezing, and then little bridge. Those are your 4 poses. Mess around with those ones today, and when you're done, allow yourself to some time to lie flat on your back and just feel how breath moves down into your feet. And also come to standing and allow yourself time to just notice if the legs feel like they're juicier, more turned on, if the low back feels more relaxed.